All right, welcome in, Aquarians. This is your monthly intuitive tarot reading. We are going to take a look at the month of May and get you some good guidance, information, just to give you some awareness or perspective about where your energy is at right now and what are the highest timelines right now based on where you're at in this now moment. And tarot is a tool for you to utilize to help you navigate each now moment, to make the most of it, to reach your highest timeline, reach your highest potential, and to help with create more ease and grace in your life, right? And it's all about how you show up to life. We can't control the external world, but we can control ourselves because we are the basis that creates our physical reality. So the reality is literally a mirror of what's going on internally, what's going on with us. And that's a holistic view. So as we know, anything physical is a mirror. So even our physical body is a mirror of what's going on internally. And that includes our health. Our overall health, our body keeps the score of what's going on mentally, emotionally, energetically. So how is everyone doing? And before I started this reading, Aquarians, I was feeling a lot of excitement energy. So I was like, okay, something's going on with Aquarians right now where you're excited for something, or there's something coming that I'm picking up on that's exciting, that is going to be a positive thing for you guys in May. So let's go ahead and take a look. Also, we're going to start tapping into this Uranus and Gemini energy. Uranus moved into Gemini last month, April 25th. That is a big move that closes out the outer planets. So all the outer planets have now, since the November of 2025, have all moved into their signs and will now be in those signs for, years. Why the bigger planets are really important when they move, it's because they move slower because they're farther away from Earth. And when they move, it kind of is a big shift in energy. And since the planets move slower, they stay in signs a lot longer than Mercury, Mars, Venus, those closer planets. So it really impacts the collective. It impacts us personally. And it's kind of a long-term forward-looking energy. So Uranus is going to be in Gemini the next 7-8 years. And I did a whole video on that. So go back if you didn't watch that. Go definitely take a look, because I kind of tapped into what is it that we need to be aware of, or what are those themes that we're going to be seeing, and I did a reading on that. So I'm not going to go too into detail about that, but we're going to see how this is starting to impact you, Aquarians. But again, right, it's not a big change overnight or anything. Yes, we're in the first month after that, but really, it's almost like you have to wait a first full year after the change to kind of start to really see how this is impacting your life. But what I learned, because I'm a Scorpio sun and Uranus was in Taurus since 2018, and so that it tends to impact not just the sign it's in, but whatever sign. So like Taurus is a fixed sign, so it does impact all of the fixed signs more heavily. And Gemini is a mutable sign, so it impacts the mutable signs more heavily. So I really went through it, I would say, since 2018. It is a big energy of really facing your patterns, facing the things that aren't working. And Uranus is really going to come in and force you to face those things. And also, it's time to clear out anything that's not working. So if there's a pattern that you can't seem to get out of, And we get stuck in patterns because we have deep-rooted belief systems or fears or behavior patterns, coping mechanisms that we just refuse to look at and refuse to face and change. So we're going to continue to go through the same sorts of experiences that have the same root lesson until we finally see it, work through it, integrate if it stems from any sort of, deep-rooted fears based on trauma, past experiences, even like energy from alternate lifetimes that are occurring, that are impacting us in this life. So, and Uranus doesn't play around. It's not going to negotiate with you. Uranus is coming in and saying, sorry, this is done. This is over with. So let's go ahead and see here. Definitely, as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe before you go. Take a look at all my, I have a lot of other things that I, do along with my channel. I have my Etsy store where I hand make bracelets with real stones and crystals, and I work with them energetically, so they are activated, charged, and ready for you to use. Take a look at my books as well if you're interested in support to help you navigate and create your heaven on earth. Okay. So let's get some foundational energies for May. So we have Wonders, talking about crystals here, and the first card out is a crystal. So definitely this could be a time where crystals will be very advantageous for you. Something that, if crystals cross your path, if you're gifted crystals, or if you could even look into, like, if you're going through certain things, looking for crystals that help you with that. But it also helps and opens up. I feel like there's something about opening up the wonder, shifting your mindset into being more closed-minded or like stuck in a way of thinking or looking at things. You're approaching things with this new sense of curiosity and wonder. There's some guidance, adventures. Okay, love that. So there could be some adventures here on the horizon that are opening up for you. I also am hearing like you should focus more on being more adventurous and taking more risks and doing things that maybe they're a little bit take you out of your comfort zone, but I think it's going to open up this new kind of energy for you, a new perspective. And lastly, we have abundance. Look at that. I love these cards. And this is right on par with, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in spring, the season of spring. And really, it's almost like the spring is a representation of what's occurring in your life and unfolding. But I do feel like there are some opportunities for adventurous things, some new things. I really feel this is like getting outside of what you would normally do. Adventures is going to open up and going to attract more abundance into your life. It's almost like right now, I've been hearing this all over, and I also been hearing this from my channels, but this is a time to do things completely different than you normally would. Like if you would normally, even like small everyday things, like if you normally take a certain way to work, try a different route. If you normally, like every Friday we go out and eat, switch it up, go Saturday instead. Something like that. Or like, hey, I've been going at a project or a hobby this way, or I've been trying to, create this go in a completely different career path, but this is the way I've been doing it and it's not really working. Change. Okay. Change even the little thing of what you're doing. It's going to really help the energy shift. Okay. And I'm going to pull some Lenormand, the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck as well. these are kind of, they're not an oracle deck. They're kind of its own kind of reading cards that you read, but they're a little different. But I do enjoy these, so I thought I'd try them. Okay, this is the Sith and the Park. So this is the child card. I do feel like the Sith is really changing, like you're cutting yourself free from something. You're kind of deciding to stop doing something or ending something. And you're approaching life with this new childlike curiosity. There's this innocence here. This could also refer to doing some inner child work, because there's something deep here that you're carrying that has caused you a lot of heaviness or grief. But there's something there. But I also feel like this approaching things in a new way, being curious, being more innocent, looking through more child eyes is going to help open up some opportunity here with the Park. So this card represents some sort of invitation or get-together, party, event, social engagement, where to me it's opening something up for you. Let me grab one more card and see. So this is a month too. If you're invited somewhere or to something, and you normally are like, you normally wouldn't go, or you're like, I don't want to go, definitely do it, because there is something here. Yeah, the Star. So there's something you want. There's a little bit of challenge in the way, though, with the Sith and the Mice here. Let me read the Mice card. So the Mice say, you don't want me in your house, you don't want me in your blouse. I bring loss, I bring theft with destruction and decay. I am your stress and anxiety. I am the worry in society. I am your nuisance. So they are symbolic of loss, either a gradual whittling away on one's savings combined, or an actual, so it says with the fish, but we don't have the fish. Their presence brings into the reading a bite-sized effect, something that is happening in little chunks. They are a niggling aspect of life where there is an issue, something that has become a pest in your life. Okay. And it will not leave you alone. It kind of creates some stress and anxiety and leaves you a bit troubled. But this card also advises you to take care of your possessions. So I kind of feel like this is more talking about that there's something that's been nagging at you. There's been an issue or something in your life that kind of is more of a pest, right? It's it's kind of just bothering you. And that's where I feel like this Sith is there's everything, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the sun. So I kind of feel like it's time to address this, whatever this situation is. It's like you've kind of just been putting up with something. But I feel like something new wants to come in. I feel like also like the Star represents your wishes and your dreams and desires. That's also wanting to come in. But yet there's something in the way here that you haven't dealt with or faced. And that's the one thing that's blocking you from opening something up. But I do feel there's also kind of an event or invitation here that you should take that's going to be positive. All right, let's dig into the tarot. I'm using the Golden Tarot of Klimt. All of the art on here is the fabulous artist Gustav Klimt. He's a very famous 19th century artist. And I've kind of been drawn to them. So I definitely, when I'm drawn to cards, I use them because I feel like there's reason. So we have the Three of Swords. Yeah, there's the heartache. There's something that's been heavy on your heart. The Devil, something very karmic. This could be a karmic situation, a karmic relationship. King of Pentacles. It is tied to a person here. So this is some relationship in your life. It could be romantic. It could be a partnership here. And I feel like it's a long-standing one. You know, for some of you, I think it's leaning towards relationship, but this could be like a business partner or a family member, like a father figure or something that there's... This has been a very karmic relationship. It's caused a lot of heartache for you. Two of Wands, but there's a that's the Five of Wands, sorry. Five of Wands, the World. So there's something that's of conflict here. That's kind of at the base of the relationship that's been in the recent past, I feel. That's really kind of created some butting of heads. At the core of your reading, you have the World card. So there is something ending, but it's opening the path for a new beginning for you. But something has to close up here, and this has been really difficult. Two of Wands. So I did think that was the Two of Wands, but that did come out. So there is a decision here that needs to be made with this individual. You could maintain this relation due to stability or money or security reasons. But I also feel like this Five of Wands is kind of like each side of the party's been always trying to get what they need from the other. And it's like you're trying to, what's the saying? Like, basically, like, you're beating a dead horse with this. Like, you know you're never going to get what you really need from this relationship or the situation, but yet you just stay. And it's almost like you take what you can get. And it's better than nothing. But that's changing here in May. Something's kind of hitting ahead. King of Wands, Queen of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. So there is a decision here that's tied to kind of looking at your long-term legacy of like, what is you want the future to look like? This could also be a decision that impacts money and finances, but there's three, like, kings and queen, two kings and one queen here. So someone is really finally getting clear and speaking their truth and kind of cutting through the BS. Like, we need to be straight up with each other. And we have to figure out the future here of how we're moving forward, because this is what I want, this is where I'm going, and there's some decision that has to be made. This could be related to another party, so there could be essentially three people in this situation. This King of Wands, though, is a lot more, to me, energetically aligned with where you are and where you want to be. This king has, you know, both kings are very solid in the physical world, but I think this King of Wands has the passion and the drive and the excitement and the adventure. So that's interesting. So there could be someone that you're like, I want to work with this person now, or I'd rather be with someone like this, rather than the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is attractive. They're good on paper. But when it comes to real passion or emotional connection here, they're not, in this situation, they're not as good as this King of Wands when it comes to that. And I feel like you're shifting out of what you really want. you're shifting out of the old, accepting of, maybe stability and security were more important to you a few years ago, where now it's like passion and excitement and adventure is kind of your where you're at now. Let's see, what's the Five of Wands about? Three of Pentacles. You have been trying to work through this. You've been trying a long time to work together and make this work. Eight of Wands, though. There is something about conflict about maybe where you live, a location. There could also be conflict, just like not great communication going on here, but there's a lot of trying. There's a lot of trying, but there's just like this incompatibility that you just aren't going to ever be on the same page with this person. Let's talk to these people. Let's get one for the King of Pentacles. Temperance. King of Cups. Interesting. This could be just either this person or one of you has just kind of been waiting it out, hoping that this just works out. Like that's been the like approach to this forever, is just like trust and just kind of like, but there's no active like, how do we, this King of Pentacles is not very engaged and active about how do I need to show up differently to make this work and willing to change. They kind of are just, they're kind of just stuck in who they are and the way they do things and their way of just like, maybe if we don't fully face it, it's all going to be fine. They're not great at expressing their emotions with this King of Cups. They're not great at the emotional side of things. They're not great at expressing. I do feel like they have a lot of love, but they're just not great at showing it or expressing it. And maybe it's not the way that you really need it. Let's talk to this Queen of Swords. Three of Wands. So we have the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands. I do feel like, interesting enough, you both are kind of mirroring each other, because the Three of Wands is also like wait and see energy. Like you've been committed to this. You've been committed, but you kind of have just been waiting for like, it's like you want change or you think there's going to be, but you're kind of just been waiting and waiting for like you to either, decide, like you've been waiting for yourself to be like, no, like you've been fine just kind of sitting on the fence or just being in the situation. Five of Cups. But this has caused a lot of like emotional, like you've been holding back at how this has really impacted you emotionally. Like you have gone through potentially some loss as well in the last couple years. And you've kind of just been like, I think partly too, you've kind of been dealing with something emotionally, and like, that's also why you've stayed in this situation. But the Queen of Swords is like, you're finally seeing things clearly, and you're finally maybe even speaking your truth about kind of what you've been dealing with. Let's see the King of Wands. Tower. Something's about to blow up though. This is Uranus energy. So the Tower's coming in with this King of Wands. So I don't know if this is kind of a third party situation, like a true like triangle where you meet someone or someone out of nowhere comes into your life and you're just like, you really want to be with this person. And you either this person wants to move fast or you want to move fast, but the Knight of Swords is very fast moving energy. So this comes in fast and something wants to move fast, but you have to deal with this whole other situation here. Or someone finds out about this and there's anger here, and it's almost like someone finds out about it very suddenly, and like you have the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords, so it's kind of like this, you know, cutting through the BS. Someone gets angry and there's some sort of ending here. This is interesting. So this could be some sort of third party situation. And then last, let's see, the Three of Swords, Devil, Ace of Wands. Yeah, you're just kind of Six of Pentacles. This situation has not been equitable for you. Maybe in some sense, maybe financially it's been helpful for you, but this has never been an equitable relationship where I feel like you've given a lot more than you've gotten back from this. But now there's some passionate new beginning. I feel like you just passionately are like over the same old, and you are ready for new passion, new creativity, new inspiration. You're just ready for new energy. And you're like, I'm tired of being in this karmic situation. So it's time for a change. Definitely time for a change. All right, Aquarians, very interesting. There's some dramatic flair here, but I think this is all coming to a head because the universe is kind of finally trying to push you off the cliff to say, you finally have to face this and make some decisions here. And looks like this is going to end, but I think this is going to be good for you. And you're freeing yourself from something that has been, you know, long-standing and heavy for you. All right, Aquarians, have a good month ahead. Thanks for joining in. Let me know how you're doing, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.